Everybody, welcome to the Appalachian ADV Community Podcast. My name is Kane Wagner, owner of Appalachian ADV, head full of all of our events and clinics. And today on the line we have Tami Bakke from the MOA Foundation. I want to welcome her on. Hey, Tami, how you doing?
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I've been a member of the MOA for a while now. Even though I don't own a BMW, never had, I still wanted to support the organization and the foundation to an extent. So I wanted to have you on here just to kind of talk about some of that stuff. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about you so people get to know who you are. Like, who are you? Where did you come from? Where are you living at now? That kind of stuff.
Sounds great. So I live in Valrico, Florida, which is near Tampa, so kind of the central area of Florida. I have been a motorcycle rider for about 10 years, so not
Yeah.
my whole life. I enjoy the fact that it's finally chilly here and we can we can actually have some nice riding without overheating. So
Yeah, that's a bonus of being that far south. Is this time of year is probably the best time to ride.
absolutely.
You were in the service, correct?
That is correct. I joined right out of high school, and my recruiter told me that I could be an artist for the Army. So, so I was a graphics documentation specialist,
Wow.
and in the Army Reserves.
Okay.
So during that time, I met my first husband, and then kind of backed off of my military career and helped to support his as he went. Just active duty. So
Okay.
spent a
Yeah.
lot of time as a military spouse as well.
Yeah. Great. How long were you affiliated with the reserve yourself and then the military as a whole?
So I did my first enlistment,
Hmm.
which was a 6 year of active reserves and then 2 years, kind of on the list. They call it inactive ready reserves.
Yeah.
Um, so, yep, did that and then, and then moved along with my civilian career.
So 10 years ago when you started riding, like what piqued your interest to kind of get into motorcycle riding?
So, in fact, as I think often happens with people who join the community later on in life, I had a big life event happen. I was married for 21 years, and one day I learned that that was not going to continue.
Mm.
Um, and it was devastating.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I needed to take up a new hobby, do something different. And I remembered that way back in college, I had ridden on the back of a motorcycle and I had enjoyed that. So
Hmm.
my plan was get on Match.com, check the box that says he rides a motorcycle, and and maybe ride on the back of a few motorcycles while I figured out what it would mean to date again after 21 years.
Yeah.
As it turns out, I matched with Doug Bakke, who's my husband now, and who is a wonderful, he did take me for a ride on the back of his motorcycle a few times, and then he said, have you ever thought of getting your own license? And so I went and did that, and I have not looked back. It's been fantastic,
That's amazing. The motorcycle just, the caveat to great relationships, I'd say for sure.
for sure.
So what was that first bike that you actually decided to ride?
So the first one that I ever piloted myself was a Ural with a sidecar.
Oh, wow.
The way that worked was Doug sat in the tub and
Uh-huh.
walked me through the gears and told me what to do basically. And since I didn't kill him or me, I figured that was a success. Um, but then once I got my license, once I went and took the MSF course and got my license, I started to shop. And the first thing on my mind was actually a Triumph
Okay.
because my uncle had had a Triumph growing up, and I really I thought those were great bikes. So I ended up with a 2003 Thunderbird.
Oh, nice.
So it was a great bike. So, but triple carbureted, which
Oh,
that's a bit of a dark art. And uh, and so eventually I moved on to my first BMW, which was a 750 GS.
okay.
Uh, And I now have three of my own BMWs in the garage. I found my brand.
Well, name them off. I gotta know what three are in there.
So the interesting thing is they're all GSs. So they're
Yeah.
all, kind of adventure type motorcycles. The first one, the Bumblebee 750 GS. The second one, a 1200 GS. And I will tell you, the first time I sat on that size motorcycle, I was certain that I would never be able to ride a motorcycle that big. But I ended up with that one because my 750 ended up in the shop during COVID, and
Oh,
they had it for 90 days because they couldn't
oh
get.
wow. Yeah.
And so the 1200 came up for sale, and that gave me a boost of confidence. I figured I'd go ahead. And so I bought that one, and that one actually, it's very, very close to 100,000 miles now. Had
Wow.
about 20,000 on it when I bought it, so you can
Yeah.
tell I've got a relationship with that one. And then
Yeah.
the third one is a brand new new to me. It's about 6 months old. The 1300 GS.
Okay. Those are solid. BMW, man, they just keep surprising you with, when they decide to build upon their legacy, they kind of do a pretty good job of it. I think they've gotten way better. The 900 too, that new 900 that just came
Yeah.
out, phenomenal bike. I had a couple guys come out to clinics and stuff with them, and they just seem like really great bikes.
Yes. Yeah,
It
you can't go wrong with the BMW.
like I think I've only was able to ride a GS. It was I think it was a 1250. It was actually the first year I went to Wayland Wayne weekend, and I was out there with two other guys. Just met them, didn't really know who, we didn't know each other. We just kind of decided all ride together, and we got his 1250 down into one of the trails in a spot that was tough to get out in either direction, and we decided to turn around because a giant storm was coming in because the trailhead was closer behind us than in front of us. So I ended up having to ride his bike up a pretty decent hill climb and stretch a trail. And I'd never been on one before. He's sitting there telling me, "Oh, you gotta, this is the ride." I said, "Try to turn as much of that stuff up as possible." And when I jumped on that thing, the first try up the hill, I didn't quite make it, but I kind of had a feeling for, okay, I could definitely do it the second time. So we backed it all the way back down to the bottom, and I rode that thing all the way up to the top, and I was smiling at the top. I had a big old grin on my face. I couldn't believe like how light the bike actually felt for as big as it was.
They're extremely capable bikes, really good technology
Yeah.
on them as well, which is especially helpful for, you have a lot of riding experience. For me, um, being on a BMW has been very helpful to me as I've been
Hmm.
working on my skills because there's some forgiveness there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely, like my Tenere doesn't have anything except ABS. And when you jump on a bike that has some of the ride modes, everything's like it does make things easier. It helps you make less mistakes. It's definitely there's definitely something to it. For me, I've always enjoyed the Tenere because it doesn't have those things. I like the rawness of the Tenere, but I could definitely see how those ride modes can help people for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess since we're talking about BMWs, it's a good time to talk about the BMW MOA Foundation. And you are actually the chair now. But what I'm interested in is what kind of brought you into that foundation? What piqued your interest into getting involved with that organization?
So really the first thing was becoming a member of the BMW MOA, and
Hmm.
I did own an MOA, or I'm sorry, I did own a BMW at the time, as I continue to do, but it's important, I think, for anybody listening to understand that the community is really the motorcycle owners of America.
Hmm.
That's where the emphasis is. There is a strong love for BMWs, and if you admire BMWs, you'll find yourself certainly in the right place. But ownership of a BMW is not required in order to be a member of the MOA, and the
Yeah.
benefits are just so fantastic. For me, I joined it because I was really enjoying riding, wanted to be a part of a community where I could meet other riders and just really, celebrate and learn more about the sport. And
Hmm.
so that was my initial reason for joining. But as I went along, I realized that there's also a very strong love, I think, amongst the members for, rolling up your sleeves and helping. And
Yeah.
in the publication of the MOA, the owner's news, I
Hmm.
saw a small little snippet that said, if you have marketing experience, we're looking for somebody to volunteer with our board. And so I responded to that and was invited to volunteer and eventually was invited to serve on the board.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I guess just so people know, like what is the mission then of the foundation? Like what
So
do you, what's the goals?
the MOA Foundation is the nonprofit 501c3 charitable arm or
Hmm.
partner of the MOA. The mission is preserving the rich heritage of motorcycling by advancing rider skills, education, and training. And so you can see in there really there's a lot of emphasis on this connection
Hmm.
between really understanding how motorcycles work, really getting to know your bike, and really developing your skills,
Yeah.
um, and safety.
Right. So as the chair of the board, like what is kind of your role there? Like what do you do as the chair of the MOAF?
So really, I want to say, as a board member, so just one of the board members, and not necessarily as a chair. First of all, my biggest things that I am responsible for are being an ambassador for the sport, basically,
Hmm.
and helping riders to make that connection between, training and safety and
Yeah.
enjoyment of the motorcycle. Um, and then also as a fundraiser, because, we really cannot provide the benefits that we do to riders as far as training rebates and things like that without having money to do that. And so really it's, talking about what we do and then also as a fundraiser. And that's something that is really incumbent on all of our board members. Um, as the chair, what I do is largely administrative. I'm pulling together our team on a monthly basis. We're talking about our mission and our vision and making sure that our strategic initiatives match the direction that we need to be going.
Yeah. And since I run training clinics, I've wasn't I mean I've been a member of the MOA for a while, and I'm sure at some point in time I came across the fact that there is that training scholarship, but it's over time it just kind of fades from memory. And then as I started doing these clinics, I had several people come to him and say, "Hey, we want to sign up for your clinic, and we found that the MOA has this, the Paul B. Rider Safety Rebate, I think it's called." So it kind of reintroduced me to that, and luckily we were able to get people to come to the training, and then everybody get this rebate. Can you just talk a little bit more specifically about that thing, like what your rider training program is about?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about this because it
Yeah.
really is it really does help riders to avail themselves of training. Motorcycling is not an inexpensive sport. You can see
Yeah.
all over the internet. You can see memes about basically all one's money going towards
Uh-huh.
love, and um, I support that.
Uh-huh.
I support giving all your money to motorcycling because of the joy that you get back is commensurate. But in reality, we have other things that we need to do in order to sustain life. And so
Hmm.
having the opportunity to get a little bit of money back when you take training is really, really nice. For members of the MOA, there's an opportunity to get up to $200 per year back from after taking training, approved motorcycle training courses. And
Gotcha.
this is another thing that, riders really need to understand it does not have to be a BMW course or on a BMW.
There
While
you
those
go.
are covered, certainly, as you've mentioned, you've had students that have come to you and then afterwards have applied for the Paul B. Rider training rebate
Hmm.
and have been able to avail themselves of that as well.
Yeah. What
Uh,
about non-members? You could still get this rebate even if you're not a member. Is that correct?
You can. And so, and that might be a little bit less known fact, but the fact is, we understand that if you're on two wheels, there is a need for learning how to ride safely on your bike. It
Hmm.
does not matter what brand you are on. It matters more that you are developing a habit of, skills development, practice,
Hmm.
and training. So, with that said, anybody, being a member in the MOA gives lots of additional benefits, and it's something that really, honestly, most people who take advantage of the training scholarships go ahead and become an MOA member because
Hmm.
the benefits are twice for the MOA member as the non-member. But honestly,
Right.
you can go to BMW MOAF, that's F for Foundation, .org and see apply for the Paul B scholarship after taking training,
Hmm.
um, even if you're not an MOA member.
Yeah. So since we're kind of in that vein of being a member of the MOA, what kind of we mentioned there are a bunch of benefits. Like what other kind of benefits can people get out of joining besides just being a part of an organization that is so safety and training minded?
Yeah, it's really a fantastic organization. There are about 25,000 active members currently throughout the nation. We have, really throughout North America, I should say. And the MOA, some of the benefits, one of the things that Doug and I enjoy so much, unfortunately or fortunately, is the tire protection. There's an opportunity to cover your bikes against a flat or a puncture, that kind of thing. And we ride quite a bit, so we have definitely been able to take advantage of the tire protection. So there's tire protection. There's a fantastic publication, the BMW Owners News,
Hmm.
which is really valuable for learning about the different things that happen throughout the year that the MOA supports,
Hmm.
including a national rally every year. This year it's going to be in this June, the 11th through 13th in Vermont, in Essex Junction, Vermont. And about 5,000 of our closest friends are going to get together there in Vermont and eat maple creamies and ride and have a great time.
I've been to I don't remember what year it was, but it was in Virginia. This was a few years ago.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
remember coming down and I was hanging out with the Denali Electronic folks, and I'm a BDR ambassador, so I hung out with those guys a little bit too. It's a great meetup. It's not specifically about riding. It's definitely bike centric, and it's all about discussions about bikes and all the intricacies of all of the things that are motorcycle related. And it's just like a big giant festival atmosphere. I really enjoyed it when I went to it that year.
So you should come back to Vermont, and the
Yeah.
reason is it gets better every single time. One of the things that we added last year that I've just really enjoyed because I had the opportunity, our MOA Foundation booth was actually just central to this, was there's a Builder's Best bike show.
Oh,
And again, not just BMWs, but it's an opportunity for builders from all over, the area, as far as they want to travel to
yeah,
bring their creations, and there are amazing
yeah.
bikes that we show there.
That's cool. I remember I don't remember what it's called, but it was like this, you sit inside of it. It was like a streamline, but it was a motorcycle. It was a pretty famous piece, but I can't remember who it was.
I remember seeing that one. That's so cool
Yeah,
that yeah, I remember seeing it, and I do not know what it's called, unfortunately,
yeah,
but it was something. It was long.
yeah. It looked like a rocket ship, and I
Yeah.
think it was a two-seater too. I think it was two. It was the wildest looking thing I ever saw.
Yep.
So let's go back to that. You mentioned the magazine, the Owner's News.
Yes.
Um, it's a I feel like it's somewhat unique magazine because it seems to me at least that a lot of the articles are written by members of the organization. And it's not really, from what I recall at least, you don't really have many like guest articles. It's mostly like from the MOA community. Is that correct?
That is correct, and that really mirrors, I think, the community. You
Hmm.
know, the community is just a vibrant collection of motorcycle riders of all kinds of experiences and interests and things like that. And so when the community comes together and shares those through writing articles, it's really a special publication. It's
Yeah.
beautifully done.
Yeah, I agree. I've always enjoyed uh, it's just like a really wide range of article types. So some of it's just like a review of a thing. Some of it is like, I just took this awesome trip and here's all the crazy stuff that happened, all the way to like, I can't remember I think his name's Jack Reap or Ripe. Is he
Oh,
right?
yeah, Repay. Unfortunately, he's passed, but
Yeah. His articles were always my favorite to read when I
it,
first started joining because they were always so like abstract, like weird, like fantasy sci-fi almost sometimes. Like I miss that guy. His stuff was it was my favorite stuff to read.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're really, really good. So, great community, great magazine. Just mad credit to Bill Wiegand, who's the editor of the magazine. Really
Yeah.
talented guy.
Yeah. You could tell they put a lot of time and effort and love into that one for sure.
Mhm.
So let's go back to like the education safety aspect. I remember as I was reading through the website and trying to like prepare myself for the podcast, I saw under your little "This is who I am," it talked about this a Safe Miles champion. And then I scrolled through a little bit more and I found this Safe Miles endowment thing. So I'm interested to hear a little bit more about what that is and how you became a champion.
So I appreciate that question. Thank you so much. The Safe Miles Endowment is it's a there goes my ability to talk there. Really, in delicate terms, it's a big bag of money that helps fund training.
There you go. All
So,
right.
um, and the way that the way that it works really is we're putting together this endowment. We're collecting $1.5 million.
Mm,
We're about halfway there, so there's still a long way to go. But what we're doing with this then is allowing the money to be invested with the dividends going through to safety education and training.
yeah.
So rather than having to scrap as much for bringing in funds to fund training, the endowment will help to kind of lessen that burden and provide sustainable scholarships going forward.
Oh, great. That's awesome. I didn't realize it was that much, that high of a number. That's great. So how
Yeah,
did
so
you become a Safe Miles champion?
So a Safe Miles champion simply is someone who has really committed to helping make that happen. A personal commitment of $10,000, and so it's definitely
Okay.
it's definitely a financial commitment.
Yeah.
Uh, but also making that contribution means I think that anybody who chooses to do that, I think, is really invested in the future of riders. It's not
Hmm.
about any of our personal safety per se. It's
Hmm.
really about promoting the rider community and especially rider skills education and training within the community. So
Yeah.
something that, you know, if I may, I'll just say, when I started riding, I found riding to be such a joyful experience. It was difficult at first. It didn't come easy to me. I fell over a lot.
That's normal.
But but the more I learned that, anything that you have to earn like that, anything that, skills like that don't necessarily come easy, but that you
Hmm.
that you progressively master, there is a joy in that is, maybe hard won, but very, very valuable. And as I started to see the value of that for me, the next thing was I really want this for everybody. I want everybody to be able to not just, enjoy going from point A to point B in a straight line, but, to be able to practice the types of skills, especially, like cornering. Something as simple as turning a corner on a motorcycle, that's where, a lot of motorcycles, unfortunately, are being injured or killed is in corners.
Yeah.
And often because they don't have the training to really understand what it is that you need to do to aid the motorcycle to get through that corner safely. So at any
Yeah.
rate, the bottom line is I love riding so much. The community and motorcycling has just given me so much that I just want to be able to leave that legacy in perpetuity so that riders for generations to come can come home safely from one ride and be able to go out again.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't agree more with all of that for sure. Because, I didn't ride motorcycles as a kid either. I didn't do them until I was an adult. I was in my 30s when I, first got my initial motorcycle, V-Strom 650. And there's definitely something to it. I've played different sports. I've been in other athletic activities, whether it's a triathlon or a 5Ks or, mountain biking. All of those things require some level of skill, and they require you to be patient with yourself as you continually fall constantly. And the fact that you take those beatings and you get yourself back up, you go back out and you do the thing again and you learn more and more and more, there is definitely like a reward to that, like both, mentally and physically. Like it's good for your brain to challenge yourself physically, and it's good to learn new skills. So it's all tied together for sure.
hmm hmm If I may, just to return for a moment to the Safe Miles endowment,
Yeah.
I wonder if there are listeners out there that are going, oh gosh, $10,000, really? And what I say to that is that this effort is very important, and that really, if a listener is interested in giving $5 a month or $10 a month or,
Hmm.
something like that, that is also extremely beneficial.
Hmm.
Just this week, actually, we also published on our website an opportunity to be an annual supporter. Um,
Huh.
the Safe Miles champion is certainly there's a lot required financially there to if you want to have the title of Safe Miles champion. But I don't want to drive anybody away as far as support is concerned, because if you go to bmwmoaf.org and just click on the donate button, you can see the different ways to give and to support rider skills education and training. And there are also, opportunities to give at a lower level that would still make a fantastic impact in the community.
Yeah, for stuff like that, for sure. I would think any amount is welcome. Like
Absolutely.
for sure. Like I understand that completely. I guess where I would like to go next probably is, I met you. I think the first time I actually met you in person was at Whale and Wayne weekend.
That's correct.
Um, obviously I've heard your name before. I kind of knew who you were. And then when we had a chance to meet, um, this person that you're hearing on this podcast is the exact same person I met at Whale and Wayne. Just super into it, like excited about it, and ready to go out there and rip around in the woods. So I definitely wanted to have you on here because of that. And then the fact that I hadn't, we met at, whenever you meet somebody at an event like that, it's so hectic because
Yeah.
you're there kind of helping support the event. I'm there helping support the event in some form or fashion. So we get pulled in multiple directions. So getting the opportunity to sit down and kind of chat with you for a minute uninterrupted like this is a major benefit of doing this podcast for sure. But I wanted to kind of talk about like maybe what the MOA and the MOAF and you to an extent, like what events are you out there kind of helping with, and like what kind of help do you give to these events, I guess?
Sure, sure. So,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. So let me just go back to Whalen Wayne Weekend for a
Yeah.
moment, because this is Whalen Wayne Weekend is, as you know, it's run by Chad Warner.
Hmm.
Chad has done amazing things for the motorcycling community, bringing this event now in its 13th year in 2026, bringing it from a group of 12 people that, just wanted to get together and ride and, goof off in the wilderness, to an over, a 600 to 700 person event
Yeah.
now. And it's been amazing to watch that happen. The MOA Foundation has been involved for a few years, for several years, and we continue to be involved because not only is it a wonderful event and a great opportunity to get our message to the riding community, but Chad Warner and Whalen Wayne Weekend every single year support the MOA Foundation. Chad is a part of the reason, and Whalen Wayne Weekend is a part of the reason that we're able to give these scholarships to the
Hmm.
MOA community. The way that it works with Whalen Wayne is Doug's on the MOA board. Doug and I will show up, in advance and help with some of the behind the scenes things. One of my favorite things to do is to be involved in the registration effort as well. And so,
Uh-huh.
you'll often see me putting together swag bags and then welcoming people as they come in. Um, and then throughout the event, we'll run the 50/50, and also, for me, once registration is flowing along well, you'll typically see me hanging around the different trainers and training events. So through that event, I've had the opportunity to train with Jocelyn Snow,
Mm.
and yes, which was amazing. She ADV was there.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, and I who did I train with just this last year that I was so he was awesome. Tom Asher.
Tom Asher.
Trained with Tom Asher this last time. I'm still looking forward to getting out and riding with you, and so you're
Yeah.
you're on my
Yeah.
list.
Yeah. Awesome.
Uh, So that's a lot of talk about Whalen Wayne Weekend, but it illustrates a little bit the give and take there,
Yeah.
as far as relationship. I want to mention too another one that has chosen the MOA Foundation as their chosen charity
Mhm.
is the Hog Rock Adventure Rally, and this is a
Yeah.
brand new rally. They had kind of a soft opening last year.
Yeah.
But right after the MOA National Rally in Vermont this year, there's going to be about a week in between. And then I'm going to be using that time to spend a little bit of time in New York on my bike. And then I'm going to go down to I'm going to go down to Cave in Rock, Illinois for the Hog Rock Adventure Rally.
Yeah.
And similar thing there. Gonna roll up my sleeves and help, and they have promised 10% of the ticket sales to benefit rider skills education and training. We also through the MOA we also are helping with some of the back end technology to help run registration and things like that for the rally. So that's an example of the types of
Hmm.
relationships that we can have with different organizations.
It's awesome. But I'll be at Hog Rock supporting as well,
Hey.
running a 1-day clinic on Friday, and then Saturday we're gonna take those guys out and just do one of the Hog Rock adventure routes. So it's another opportunity for me to hang out with you for sure.
Fantastic. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it. I'll be nice and tired from my long ride, but I'll
Did
enjoy
you
it.
go to the soft launch?
So I did. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I heard so many good things. I couldn't make the soft launch because of a scheduling conflict, but I was able to go down there this, maybe a month or so ago and check the property out, and I couldn't believe what they have going on there. I'm looking forward to utilizing that whole property for the clinic for sure, and just how beautiful the area is in general.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised because you don't often think of, Illinois, Ohio, there are parts, but you don't often think of that area as being, primo riding. But
Uh-huh.
even on the property that they own, I mean, you could
Yeah.
stay on the property the entire weekend and have a fantastic time.
Yeah.
There are challenges for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an amazing spot. Like just from talking to Michael and Cameron in the past, I kind of had a feeling for it because, they were able to describe it to me. And just from being in Ohio myself, and my Fools Ride rally is in Ohio along the Ohio River, I
Mhm.
had a feeling it would be what it was, but it was actually a little bit better than I was expecting, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So on this event thing, I see you and your wonderful husband had this thing that you call tweet.
Yes, that's the two-wheeled exploration, adventure, and training. And I think we're probably in our third year or so of
Hmm.
offering that. That really started as a small, local to Tampa group and has grown to, really have people joining us from all over. Um, we offered, and we don't do this quite as often, but in the beginning we offered meetups where we would do ADV type clinics. Um, Doug and I, not as the primary trainers, actually, we would bring in professional trainers to help, do practice days and things like that. And the reason that that's kind of fallen off a little bit is just that we've gotten so busy with so many other other things that that's difficult to sustain. But
Yeah.
another thing that came out of that was a Facebook group that, I would love to invite everybody to join. It's an opportunity to another opportunity to basically build community. And then we also plan some events each year that are they're loose events. They're not a pay to play or anything like that. It's
Hmm.
really more of a kind of like a follow me type thing where we're getting together in the Smoky Mountains area and going and riding some of the wonderful terrain that's available up there, both on road and off road. So it's a really good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I saw you were kind of spreading out now. I saw a few listed, I think, in that area, Georgia, down in Florida too, for sure. So it's, doing them in the off season too, I think is a great time because down
Yes.
there it's not the off season.
So it's really become an opportunity for us as well to amplify the voices of some of the other organizations. And so, we're posting on there, for instance, the Georgia Mountain Rally. We're going to go to the Georgia Mountain Rally, and actually coming up very, very soon, within the next week, is the BMW Owners of Northeast Florida Rally, which is billed as Florida's coolest rally, and absolutely is. So that's in Camp Weed in North Florida, and we'll be there. So you'll see when you log on, you'll see the different places that we're going to be, the different other organizations that we're supporting, and hopefully bringing some of the tweet members too.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about, or is there something you want to talk about more?
You know, I think probably in closing, the what I really want to emphasize again is the connection between rider skills development and safety. At the end of the day, more than having an enjoyable ride, I think everybody wants to have a safe ride. And that being whatever your definition of safety is, that doesn't necessarily mean boring. Um, but it means being able to park that bike and with the expectation that you're going to be able to get on that bike and ride again. And so in support of that, I want to encourage everybody to take a look at our website, bmwmoaf.org, to join the MOA, the BMW MOA. You don't have to have a BMW to join and to take advantage of the safety and training grants that we offer each year.
Yeah, for sure. The Appalachian ADV motto is have fun, take chances. I've always been pointing out recently that safety isn't really listed there, but safety doesn't necessarily need to be third. It's your version of safety. Like you can't put safety above everything else or you wouldn't really want to ride the motorcycle because it's not a particularly safe thing to do. But you want to push your own limits. You want to take those chances, put safety first when you need to. But like you said right at the very beginning, the whole point of riding a motorcycle is to have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And the more you understand about how to get that motorcycle to do what you want to do, the faster you can go, the more risks you can safely take,
right.
without having disastrous consequences that rob you from being able to get on that bike again.
Yeah. So since I do run training clinics, and we've already mentioned you guys do have a scholarship program, I haven't opened up registrations any of my clinics yet, except for the Hog Rock one that's being done through their registration. There is a good opportunity for anybody listening that is planning on attending one of my clinics to grab that Paul B. Ryder safety training rebate. But Tammy also wanted to offer up another thing to people listening. So I'll let you explain what that is.
We want to offer to the listeners of your podcast the opportunity to have their first year of MOA membership for free. And so I've provided a link that will be available in the show notes, and a code that you can use to get that first year free. This will allow you to get the full benefit then of the membership benefit with the Paul B. Individual Rider Training Grant or rebate. And my hope is that you're going to find the benefits of membership to be so great that you will become a permanent member of the MOA community, renewing your membership each year and really enjoying the benefits of this great community.
I appreciate that for sure, Tammy. Like I stated, I've been a member for a long time now, and actually I became a member for a couple reasons. A friend of mine that got me into riding actually he owns BMWs. He would always share that the magazine with me, and then Chad actually at Whalen Wayne offering I think the same thing at some point, and I jumped on it, did the free year, and I'm like, oh, I'll keep doing this. This is pretty nice. So I really appreciate that, and I hope that the community does as well. And I'm looking forward to this coming year for many, many reasons for sure, but I'm going to have a chance to be able to see you a handful of times this year, so I'm looking forward to that, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast, Tammy.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to ride with you in the near future.